Well, since we just finished talking about Manolo, by that time, Teatro del Piojo had also become more local. It wasn't performing a whole bunch.
Well, that was the point. That was the point where Ruben Sierra, and after 1974, he started.
Doing his plays.
Yeah, he did the Shrunken Head of Pancho Villa, which is Luis Valdez full-length play here in the drama department, and he got many of Teatro Quetzalcoatl to perform in that. And then they did the Manolo play. I can't remember which came first, but they did that. And the Teatro del Piojo at the time was under the leadership of Jose Martinez. And for a whole year they were very active, and they did. That's kind of a gray area because I have not seen Jose for
a long time,
since the 1970s. But all the things that they did, everything they wrote, I don't know who has a record of it because
I know that Jose Martinez ended up storing a lot of Teatro del Piojo stuff. And there was a lot of props. He even ended up keeping the Teatro Piojo bus.
The bus and all that.
It was a school bus that we painted white and with the logo of Teatro del Piojo on it.
So he kind of
stored.
He was the last
old members.
The last leader of Teatro del Piojo, and then after that, we got together a couple of times. And we did a real good job. You know, we got ready for Cinco de Mayo. People asked us.
We performed.
The professor, Juan Rodriguez, encouraged us to get back together and form the group, regroup. And so we did. And we got some other University of Washington students that were underclassmen. I had come back to do my observations and things for my education degree to get a teaching certificate. I came back for during that time, and you had just graduated. I mean, you had graduated.
I had graduated, but I think I was doing my practicum and then graduated.
Yeah, she was doing a practicum for School of Social Work. So for that reason, we came back after being gone for a year and a year and a half. And
we got involved with Teatro del Piojo.
We got involved with Teatro del Piojo again, and it was called Tortilla Curtain. By that time, Ruben Sierra had no involvement with the group anymore, and he was directing the Ethnic Cultural Center and Theater. And we were kind of like
on our own.
Yeah, we just kind of resurrected the group for that purpose of. We did perform at Evergreen, etc. The unique thing about that group was that we touched on the issue of immigration. 1970s was late 1970s. We saw the largest migration of Mexicanos coming into the state. I had traveled down to California because I went down to the United Farm Workers National Convention. I went to two of them while I was involved with the UFW. But when I had traveled down, I noticed that in California, this was about 1975, the first time I went, around 1975, I noticed there was Mexican workers everywhere. Every bus stop. That
was new.
We still had not seen a whole lot of that in Washington yet. We were starting to see a lot of Mexican, mainly young Mexican men.
By themselves.
Just like a year or two later, it was Washington became like California. There was
families,
workers, and that's because I think a lot of our communities were not really big. Like us, we're not growing up to be the next generation of farm workers for the farmers. But the Mexican immigrant was beginning to fill that void. And consequently, with Teatro del Piojo, that was one of the main things we tackled. We said, let's do something about the Mexican immigrant, farm worker, and the types of things that occur when him arriving here. And so we focus on how this Mexican immigrant is discriminated against, not only by white society, but by the Chicano society as well. And then in the end, we're treated all the same. There's a scene where the migra doesn't care if you're from Sunnyside or from Michoacan. You're both Mexican. You're both going to be taken in, and we'll sort you out later. And
so the political message was, La Raza, we need to unite, kind of. You need to be a one strong people.
And then another thing about that performance, Tortilla Curtain, that was the main topic, but the lettuce boycott and the Safeway boycott were kind of like a thing of the past already. I remember UFW was boycotting bananas.
Bananas of all
Chiquita
things.
bananas.
Chiquita bananas.
And
even the
it
grape strike was done.
It had to do with the secondary boycotts that the union was trying to get at big business. Because big business is hard to corner. You go after a certain label, it doesn't work because they got different labels they operate under. So we were kind of showing that. But another thing we were showing was the boycott of Nestle's products. So that kind of showed that the movimiento had become part of a larger group of movimientos. Nestle's had to do with having false advertising in third world countries, and the mothers that would offer the milk, the formula was being pushed in third world countries, and these, the mothers were diluting it so much to make it available to their babies that the babies were dying of malnutrition. So we saw this was the age of, this was the time of Nicaragua, El Salvador, and those people that were involved with the Chicano movement kind of broadened even further into a more international scene. And Centro La Raza had always been involved in that level. But now
more people caught up.
If you were an activist in the late 70s, you were going to be part of that larger movimiento. So Teatro Piojo kind of was reflecting the times. And that was the last involvement we had with Teatro Piojo, and that was.
We were even, one of the scenes also shows a lot of the Ku Klux Klan all of a sudden fight against the old image of the Ku Klux Klan.
Oh yeah,
against
the way you have the militias, or who are they at the borders?
The Minutemen.
Yeah.
The Minutemen.
The Minutemen.
The Ku Klux Klan was involved at the border at the time, and we portrayed that in that Tortilla Curtain play.